recent news of Prince Harry and his connection to African Parks International is breaking the internet. Very dramatic stuff and accusations. And I wanted to break down the timeline because we have questions, because there's some scandalous allegations being made toward this organization, which Harry served as the president of for over 6 years, and then he was appointed to the board just recently. And the timeline brings a lot of questions. So first, of course, we want to know what the heck they're accusing him of. Not him, because Harry was on the board and the president, but these accusations are against these eco guards, which are these guards that sort of take care of the conservation area, which, by the way, have these indigenous people called the Bakan people, who previously were known as pygmies. So we're going to break it down and we're going to discuss it. Thank you for being here with Hot for History. I'm Deanna, and I like to bring you royal news and also history that you wouldn't probably think of anywhere else. So this is somewhat disturbing. Of course, we know that Harry and Meghan, when they were dating, they went off to a romantic getaway in Africa, and Harry has called Africa his second home for years. But right now he is dealing with some serious allegations from his connection with this organization. So I'm going to read you this article, and I'm going to kind of read around some of the words so that, so that we can keep it kind of YouTube friendly. So Prince Harry is urged to quit the African Parks charity over some allegations of severe mistreatment against some indigenous people within the parks. He is on the board of directors of African Parks. Now, remember this, because I'm going to break down a timeline, which brings a lot of questions as to how this thing went down. Whereas nobody is necessarily saying that Prince Harry knowingly was involved with any of this, but what did he know, and could he have made this better for some people who were suffering some mistreatment and human rights violations? So we're going to break down the timeline and question kind of, well, what did he do? What could he have done? And what could be happening in the future? So in a nutshell, let's read this. Let's read this article. So this is what they are saying. Prince Harry's been urged to quit his position with African Parks because of allegations of severe mistreatment against the indigenous people. And this is what they are saying is happening, that there are these eco guards that have been running around the parks, attacking and mistreating these people in the Congo basin. They're indigenous people, and Survival International, which is a London-based human rights organization that has been following this for years, has said that they wrote to Harry last May, we're going to remember this, about concerns that people of Baka were being violently hurt by armed guards employed by the very charity that he was president of for 6 years and now is on the board. And so a lot of this, they say, was happening when he was the president. According to The Guardian, the campaigners also sent Harry a video message from Ayaya, a man from Baka, who said, the eco guards are stopping us from going into the forest. That's how these people lived. I'd like whoever is sending all of these people here to hear what it's like. I want the person who's in charge of the eco guards and gives them their orders to hear us. Now there is only torture in the forest, he went on to claim in the video. Harry is said to have responded to the letter and video within 2 weeks. So remember this. This would have been in May of 2023 from hearing from the campaigners when the Duke penning the letter back to them, where he promised to raise the concerns to the people above him, which would be the appropriate thing for him to do. One of those being the chief executive, Peter Fernhead, who's a famous Zimbabwean conservationist, who was a guest at Harry and Meghan's wedding. But Harry's response has been branded as very disappointing by a campaign director at Survival International. who said that Harry said he took it seriously, but it didn't achieve a change that he had hoped to see. Then very disappointingly, we learned that Harry had joined the board of directors. So this is something that you guys need to be aware of as far as the timing. So these attacks were pretty intense. And for example, one example was of a woman who was holding her newborn baby and was sent into the woods while she's holding her newborn baby to endure this awful, intense attack from these eco guards. And so there's all kinds of claims that are going on and on about this, which are really severe. So what we know and what is said in this particular article is that Harry responded in May when he heard about this. Remember, from 2017, let me show you this, he was involved in this charity as the president. So he was involved as president of this organization. Here is the release of his the information that would show you, that's what he did. So he was appointed in 2017. Prince Harry officially appointed presidents of the African parks back in the day, and Johannesburg, in a move that underscores his commitment to conservation. Harry, His Royal Highness, because he wasn't married to Meghan yet, Prince Henry of Wales has formally joined the African parks as their president. The appointment was just made to the public. Statement released at Kensington Palace. African Parks is a conservation NGO founded in 2000 that manages national parks and protected areas on behalf of the governments and in collaboration with local communities across Africa, with 13 parks under management. They have the largest area of conservation. We're extremely honored to have Harry officially joined the parks as president, which was the announcement in the statement from Peter Fernhead, CEO of African Parks. Prince Harry has had a long history of supporting conservation. And then it moves on. It talks about his first experiences was in July of 2016 in Malawi, where he served as the integral member. Now, when they say like you're the president or you're an integral member, it's like when you're saying that you will bring something up to the appropriate people, basically, who else is there to talk to? I mean, if you're the president or if you're on the board, then you have authority and you have clout, especially when your image is being used as a celebrity for this organization. So remember, 2017, he was appointed. I want to go through the timeline. And apparently this organization, Survival International, had been following this for years. So what they're saying is that they had told Harry in May of this year about these atrocities. And they actually go on to claim that they had tried way before that. So interesting to kind of fall through the timeline, because what happened was, so that was in May of 2023. And then also in May of 2023, is when Prince Harry and Meghan's Spotify deal was gone. Now, you may think, okay, there's no correlation to this, but imagine if in May you find out about all these atrocities from an organization that you are the very president of, and you're like, oh boy, this is serious. And you do send a note. So 2 weeks later, you tell them, okay, we're responding, we're going to look into it. And then you don't necessarily get back to Survival International, but instead, 2 weeks after that, in June, you are told that your Spotify deal of $80 million is basically over, which then would put your Netflix deal in jeopardy. I mean, it could, correct? So this archetype deal was closed in June. So remember, May, he's informed. Apparently, within 2 weeks, he sends this letter. And then 2 weeks after that, or a couple weeks after that, may not have been exactly 2 weeks, they're told that their Spotify deal is over, which then brings Harry a couple weeks after that to make this announcement that he is planning to have a Netflix series in Africa. So remember that he has stated that he's going to take care of it. He's been a part of this organization at the very, very top as president. He finds out about all of these atrocities that Survival International is saying are going on. And then right after that, they lose their Spotify deal, which then makes their Netflix deal maybe in jeopardy. This is me, of course, alleging this based on a timeline. And then he makes an announcement that he's going to go to Africa and film this thing that is going to, help their financial situation. And so he's going to have this whole Netflix deal, which then didn't really go down like that, but it was all over the news. I remember in June of last year. So fast forward. So remember, we have 2017, Harry is the president, all the way up to 2023. In May, he's informed, oh my gosh, in this nonprofit that I've been involved with for so many years, it is my baby, basically, there's these abuses and atrocities, and I am going to respond. So I respond, but right when I respond, I hear that we lose our one account and we might lose our others. He could be thinking, allegedly, this is us surmising, that, oh my gosh, if Netflix and Spotify finds out about this, this is not going to be good. Let's instead, create something really amazing in Africa and make it sound really, really great, yada, yada. Fast forward again. So you would think Harry knowing all of this, Meghan knowing this, sending the letters, especially the great humanitarians that they claim to be, that by then they would be, this is very serious. Maybe we should start to consider backing off from this organization. But then instead, let me find that article. Instead, in October of 2023, so this is now several months, maybe like 6 months after he is told about these atrocities, and after he sends in a note to whoever's in charge, even though he's president, to make sure that everything's taken care of. And after he loses the Spotify deal and Netflix is like, and yet he promises, maybe Netflix, I'll go to Africa and do this special, instead of really taking care of the problem and making everybody aware of the problem, what does Harry do? This is what it looks like. He accepts a role as now and basically a promotion on the board of directors. So he's elevated to this new role. Prince Harry has a new position for a cause close to his heart. The Duke of Sussex has been appointed a member of the board of directors for the African Parks Network, South Africa. Prince Harry got involved with the nonprofit conservation group that manages the national parks across the continent in 2016 and became the president the following year. The change was spotted in his biography for African Parks, though it remains unclear exactly when he began to help helm the governing body. Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, is a humanitarian, military veteran, mental wellness advocate, and environmentalist. The Duke has dedicated his life work to advancing causes that he's passionate about and that brings about permanent change for people and places. For over 2 decades, he has taken a deep personal interest in the frontline conservation projects across Africa that work to protect the region's national resource, which I hope would be the indigenous people too, and wildlife for the benefit of local communities. So it says his bio now reads, in 2023, after serving 6 years as president, he was elevated to an officially appointed member of the board of directors, the governing body of the organization. So I personally find this disturbing because now the accusations are huge. When was he going to, make everybody aware of this, the public aware of this? What did he do to make some changes in this organization? And why would he agree to be elevated into another position when he was aware of this? So now people are questioning him and asking for him to step down because clearly these are some serious charges. So he's asked to step down from this organization. On Saturday, the Mail on Sunday published the investigation claiming that guards employed by African parks abused the Baka people in the Republic of Congo. Members of the indigenous group, once known as Pygmies, live in the Odzala Cocoa National Park claimed that the guards have stopped them from entering the forest where they have foraged, fished, hunted. That's their food. That is their food. And they were held back from doing that and operating as they have for hundreds and hundreds of years in what this article says is a violent way. According to the Mail, community activists allege a Baka man died after being hurt and not given medical care. A woman was hurt by armed guards while holding her newborn babies. Allegations that a teen boy claimed he was given out to others at a cost. And so it just goes on and on and on. And so they manage 22 national parks and protected areas of Angola, Benin, Central Africa Republic, Chad, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Malawi, Mozambique, etc. So anyhow, Survival International is a London-based human rights organization that campaigns to protect and defend the rights of Indigenous and tribal people. They wrote to Prince Harry, we're mentioning it, May of 2023, when he was president, to inform him. The outlet reports that Harry was also sent a video message by this guy, and I mentioned this. He says, the eco guards are stopping us from going into the forest. I'd like to talk to the person in charge, basically. And according to the Times, Harry said that they responded within 14 days with initially sympathetic letter promising to escalate the concerns of the most senior ranks of the organization, including, we mentioned this before. So he said he took it seriously. This is what a person in charge of an organization called Survival, but it didn't achieve the change we had hoped to see. So they're asking him to step down. We hope that his stepping down from the board of directors will give a clear signal to this organization, to stop doing this. So that's what's going on in the news of Prince Harry. And what I will say is that obviously, I don't think anybody thinks that Harry, was involved necessarily in this, but can not saying things, can a person being so passive and just having the position without taking action, and if they know the information, they haven't taken any action, wouldn't they be liable for it? And then if you are getting letters like that, and you're the president, and then you're promoted to the board of directors, and you're saying, well, I'm talking to the powers that be, wouldn't you follow up with it? And so now he's sort of in a pickle because of all of this that's going on. Will he disassociate with this, which is an organization that he's loved for many, many years? How is he going to handle this? And obviously it doesn't look good for the Sussexes. And again, I'm just pointing out the timeline. Timeline is basically that, Harry was part of this since 2017. Then in May of 2023, he found out about this. If he didn't know, maybe he knew before, we don't know. He wrote a letter in response to the powers that be, apparently, and within 2 weeks, a couple weeks after that, they lost Spotify. And then he made an announcement in June of that year that he was going to make a Netflix docuseries in Africa. And yet nobody heard about these allegations. And then fast forward to October of the same year, and he took a position with the same organization that had these accusations as a board member. And now we're hearing this. So what do you think? I think it's pretty scandalous. And let's just hope that they take care of this, because I know that they, have been known to love Africa. And, Harry has a long-standing history there. So let's just hope that this is all cleared up and that people are no longer hurt, and that Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan Markle, can move forward with this. But this is pretty scary news. What do you think? Please do subscribe to my channel, and we will follow up and discuss this again at another time.